Good morning and welcome to the Home and Finance Show. I'm your host, Janice Bradley with JB Real Estate Consultants, and my co-host is...
I'm Diana Rice-Wilkerson with Fairway Independent Mortgage.
We try our best with the Home and Finance Show to help educate and provide current information about refinancing, about building, about buying, by renovating, new construction, and credit. So we really appreciate you taking the time to watch the show. When we have guests, which we have a special guest today, we always say, you know, our guests are the best. So anyway, we just thank you for coming and for watching us. And Diana, how are you this morning?
I
think we're on the verge of got a little couple of minutes into the afternoon, but you know.
It's all good.
It's all good. It's all
yes,
good.
I'm doing very well this morning and very excited about our guest this morning.
Absolutely.
She's going to share some information that we know is going to be beneficial to everyone that's able to listen. And we hope that you're blessed by it, because we were certainly blessed by being able to assist
work
her.
With her. Absolutely. And the reason we do have guests on, ladies and gentlemen, is the fact that we always talk about home ownership and the home and financing part of it. So we really want you to know we really do have people that we are helping. This is our ministry. So let's just get right down to it. So we are going to welcome Rosalind Coleman. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to the Home and Finance Show on the TV show. So Rosalind, we want you to kind of share a little bit about yourself. If I remember correctly, you did share with us this is your first home. So just kind of share with us your story, and we will kind of go from there. We'll probably ask you a couple of questions, but you know, feel free to just kind of feel what you want to share with the listening audience, because you know, again, we want to help encourage new home buying.
And just to give you a little bit of guidance, kind of start with when you started thinking about becoming a homeowner.
Okay. My name is Rosalind Coleman. I am a mother of 3 and a recent widow. I have been wanting to own a home for several years. I've been a renter for 20 years. So ever since I moved out of my parents' home.
Wow.
So it's a long time ago. But my husband and I, we've always wanted to purchase a home. And I just felt like, you know, with renting, you know, you're investing in somebody else. So I'm like, why not invest in myself? And so that is why I decided to go ahead and purchase a home. And I wanted to make it, you know, a forever home for myself and my family.
So for you, it was a one-stop shop. It was a one-stop shop. It was like...
So let's stop a minute. Okay, so we're saying 20 years, and Diana has seen many more years than that. So just off and on, did you decide, well, maybe let's do this, or why did you still continue to rent for so long? I mean, was it just comfortable, or, you know, afraid to take that first step, or?
I thought that my credit was not good enough.
Okay.
You know, and so that's why I just continued to rent. And, but it was time, you know, we had a family, it was time to get in and get settled.
Okay.
It's so I'm not wanting to belabor the point, but just to help us, what about, back to Janice's question, what about the one thing, was it, and I guess this is what I'm after, were you notified that your lease was going to go up? I mean, was there a one thing that just made you do it? I understand the desire was always there, but was there one thing that just made you say, okay, this is it, I'm going to call Janice or Diana?
Yes, so my lease was coming to an end, and it was time for me to renew, and they wanted to go up $150 on my rent.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what, I need to just find some place and go ahead and just purchase it, because at least I know that if I was to buy, my rent would stay, my mortgage would be the same.
Yeah.
It wouldn't continuously increase.
And how much?
That's why I was.
I'm sorry. How much was your rent before?
It was 16. It was going to go up to 1608.
Okay, that's a lot of money.
1,600, just for our viewers, that's $250, $260 in a purchase price for a house, easily. So it could be a little bit more. Okay, I just was curious about that, because I think a lot of folks, that's what does it. It's like, okay, here we go. So yeah.
Thanks for sharing that. We do appreciate it. So So share with us a little bit about the process of buying a home. And of course, we know, you and I both know that we were in this seller's market. But please kind of share with us, exactly what you needed, what you were looking for. I think your children were in a certain school system or area. So how important was that to you?
Yes, I was looking for a home that stayed in my kids' school district. The current home that I was in, I had to provide the transportation to and from school. So I was looking for something that they could stay in their same schools, but also ride the bus.
Oh, okay.
I also wanted to make sure each one of them had their own bedroom and that it had multiple bathrooms because, with having kids, they always have to go to the bathroom at the same time. So just making sure we had that and just enough space where everybody was able to have their own. But the biggest thing was to just stay in that school district.
Definitely important.
Yeah, yeah. So tell me what the home shopping process was like. I mean, how many homes did you look at? How many offers did you make? How many prayers did you send up through the process?
Me and Miss Janice, we prayed a lot during that search process.
Touch and agree.
I looked at 5 homes and I made 3 offers. The first home that I looked at, there was multiple offers on that house. And so I knew that there was a high probability that I didn't get it. The second home that I made an offer on, it was between me and an investor. And I almost got the house, but the investor didn't want an appraisal. And so ended up, I lost it to that person.
And thank you for sharing
the
that.
last home.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, let's take a minute on that. Because in this particular case, I did know the realtor, so she was very, very upfront with me, which allowed me to, share obviously with you. And she really definitely wanted someone inside the house, as far as what we call, when I say inside the house, I just meant owner occupied, that type of thing. So, but she did. She just said, this is what a seller was kind of looking at, is the fact that it was not going to have an appraisal. And so again, she did everything she could. We did everything we could because we made a darn good offer. But thank you for sharing that information. I kind of forgot that for a little bit.
Well, one more second though.
One more second.
One more
Okay.
second, because I think it's important. So the fact, what was the seller gaining by not having the appraisal? I mean, what was it that the seller was trying to avoid?
Well, I'll answer that.
Well, I want you to, because I'm really thinking, I don't know. I just feel like there's some pieces in there that the buyers need to understand. I mean, it's like an appraisal. Okay, what was it? What's the big deal about it?
To be perfectly honest with you, I was really blessed with Rosalind understanding the market.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds
so
like
So I say that to say is that she understood from the very beginning, even when before we started looking at homes, that we were 9 times out of 10 going to have to offer over list price. Mm-hmm. Okay. And she was prepared. She was prepared for that mentally. And it really helped when we made the offers. So of course, with an investor, they're making over list price also.
That's right.
Okay. Yeah. So that's basically with Rosalind, that meant we were going through the home loan process, which would create an appraisal. And since you are going over list price, whether it's $5,000, $10,000 over, then the home should appraise. We want definitely for the house to appraise. So the offer could have been the very same that Rosalind offered with this investor. It could have been the very same price because we did go over, but no appraisal, so there wasn't going to be a concern. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorta.
Okay.
It's okay.
Well,
we'll go into next.
That's why the seller didn't have to worry about what it appraised at. If it appraised lower than our purchase price.
Okay, that was part of it. Yes. Okay.
Okay. So then the third house. Go ahead and share with us on the third offer.
So the third house, I went ahead and made sure that I bid over because I wanted to make sure that I gave a very enticing bid, and the seller, they accepted it. And I kind of liked how that when Miss Bradley called me, she was like, I got some good news and I got some bad news. The bad news is we're going to stop looking for homes, but the good news is you had a house. So
She's tricky like that. That had to make you feel so good. That had
yes,
to.
it is.
So talk to me about your kids. I mean, through this whole process, what did they know? And, what did they know? And were they excited? I mean, how much did you share?
I didn't really share too much with them because I wanted them to be surprised. But they did know that I was looking for a home. And when I did tell them that I found a home and that we were going to be moving, they were excited. And their first time seeing the home was when we actually moved in. So it was nice to see how
Whoa.
excited they were.
Oh, man.
I just really didn't want them to be disappointed or anything. Wanted them to see,
No.
okay, it's done. We are really moving into
That
this
had to be a
house.
big secret, Mom, that you
Yeah.
were keeping. That had to be a big secret.
Now, if I
Yeah.
remember correctly, you have 3 children, correct?
Correct.
Correct. Okay, if I remember correctly, all your children were still home, even
Correct.
though they might have been a little older. I don't know if it's just one that was a little older, and I say that because kids are staying at home longer. There's no doubt about it, and that was important to you also. But it was also what I loved about it is that since it was a he, right? It's he.
Yes, correct.
And since it was a he. Well, it didn't make any difference if it was he or she. It's just the fact that since it was an older child, to give them their own space. And I loved that. I loved that. That was very, very good. And you were in a house when you were leasing, correct?
Correct.
Okay. All righty then. So share with us on this particular home why this made sense for you and your family.
Out of all the homes that I walked in, when I walked in, this felt like home. This felt like where I could get in and make it my home, make the changes when I want to, but it just felt right. And I don't know if that makes sense, but
Sure
I'm one of those people where I can kind of feel it that, this is me, this is what I want.
Yeah.
And like I said, I mean, I just was able to see, okay, the kids had their own space. They were able to still move around and have their things. It wasn't like we were downsizing. It was enough just for us. It wasn't too big or too small.
So I want to talk about Janice Bradley for a minute, your real estate agent. So had you worked with anybody else before Janice?
I did. I did work with her, and it didn't work out. And so I was actually about to give up and sign my lease until my brother actually referred me to Miss Janice and said, let's just give it one more try before signing another lease. And I'm glad I did.
That's great. That's great. And what specifically about her, I'm not trying to embarrass her, but what specifically about her did you like? I mean, what was it? Because we talk to our buyers and our audiences about getting a sense of, I'm going to be comfortable with this person. I trust this person. I want them to represent me. And so obviously you connected with Janice in that area. So I just wanted you to share a little bit about, how she handled herself, how she made you feel.
The biggest thing is she was honest with me. She let me know, hey, if you want a house, a certain thing, you're going to have to make sure you're going to have to go above a little bit to get the house that you're wanting. Just make sure that your expectations are, real. That was the first thing. But then also she actually was looking out for me. I feel like she didn't have her own interest at stake. She really had my interest in stake. It wasn't about, commission or anything like that. It was truly about my wants and my needs. And she made sure to make that happen.
Great. That's awesome. I
Thank
feel
you
the
so
same
much.
way about
Thank you.
her. I think she is awesome. And so just wanted to kind of share that because, again, we are encouraging people, work with the team where you're feeling that way. They do have your best interest at heart because it's a complicated process. So you have to depend on your professionals to guide you. So great. What changes?
So I'm going to switch and say, so since Home and Finance also has a lender, share with us about your experience with the lending process and with Diana Rice Wilkerson.
I really appreciate Miss Rice Wilkerson because also as well, she was upfront with me too. I had informed her of a price that I was looking at and things like that. And she was like, well, if you want that certain price, it's not going to get you the type of mortgage that you're looking at. So she also was the same way, let me know, hey, if you want a certain home, you're going to have to go up a little more. So it's the same thing, just being honest with me, telling me, what I really need to know to make the true decision. And she was looking out for me as well. I think the two of you together really looking out for your people, and I appreciate that.
Excellent.
Share
Awesome.
the lending process, please.
Yes. So the first process is, of course, getting pre-approved. Once I got pre-approved and I knew the possible down payment and things like that I would need for my mortgage, and after I did get the house that I want, or my bid approved, then I had to go through and provide documents, check stubs, W-2s, and things like that, and then basically just working with the underwriter with any little extra things that they needed, and then praying for that clear to close.
The magic 3 words, clear
Yes,
to
this went pretty
close.
smooth.
I was going to say, did we beat you up too badly? Was it pretty?
No.
No. Again,
And
was it?
I was always like, well, I didn't hear from anybody for a while. So I'm like, not hearing anything is good
Good news, and it truly is. Truly, when they say no news is good news, this truly is. And let's just stop a minute. One of the things that, and I don't know if I always remember to share with with my customers, but after we have an accepted offer and we've gone through the inspection situation and so on and so forth, I often. So I'm not really a part of this from now on. So it's always the financing. So it always feels like, okay, where's the realtor? She's still here, and Diana would always copy us and things of this nature. But I'm just sharing that with the listening audience that we're still involved and what have you. But this lender piece, that's that piece that gets that, and she remembers those words, clear to close.
Clear to close.
That's. Those are magic numbers. We tell people don't even tell anybody about you. Don't tell the lease people or anything, nobody, nothing until you are clear to close. We love those words.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'd like to talk to you about your kids just a little bit. What changes have you seen in their life or in their energy or, just talk a little bit about this homeownership thing and any changes that have occurred in their lives that you notice.
Yeah, I know the first thing is like once we moved in, my daughter, she's my middle one. She was like, well, I wonder how long are we going to live here? Mm-hmm. And that really spoke volumes to me. And I was like, sweetheart, this is our home. Mm-hmm. We're not going anywhere until we're ready to go. Oh, and so that it kind of made me feel 2 ways. It made me feel bad because, having to move so many times because, leases being up and things like that, it really does affect children. Yeah. And I never really realized that. Wow. And, but now it's like they've settled in, they have their things up on the wall and they, they have their lights and things and you can tell they feel like this is their home. They're just excited and they're all settled in.
Thank you so much for that, because again, we are always sharing with the family stability. It gives them stability. And so you shared it. It's not us just telling it, and that's right. Why, of course, we'd love to have you, have our guest with us.
Yeah. So
share with us what advice that you would give to a home buyer. Just say, okay, if I were you, I would do this. Just give us your best that you possibly can.
The biggest thing is to have an open mind and be flexible. Okay. Don't go in with just straight expectations saying, okay, this is it. I'm not going to move. I'm not going to waver. Just know that this is currently it's a seller's market. So you're going to have to really be open. You're going to have to really, if you want a home, you're going to have to do what you need to do to get that home. Have multiple houses that you're going to look at, not just be fixated on one home. Okay. Like I said, just try your best to be flexible.
When it comes to the lending part of the process, because we ask a lot of questions. We ask a lot of questions, and we ask you to send a lot of documents, and we'll ask you to send the same documents over and over again. What would be your recommendation to buyers, their mindset? Just talk to them about how they should feel about it. If you did anything that, like one customer of ours had a thumb drive, Rosalind, and every document that she sent us, she put it on this thumb drive, right? And she carried this thumb drive with her. So if we needed her to resend things, she had it right there. So I don't know if you had a method, or maybe you just presented everything so quickly and up front, we didn't take you through a lot of that. Can you resend this? And sometimes even it's the quality of the document that comes across, because we image a lot of things where it's electronically, sent through different files, and sometimes it's not coming across clear enough so that it'll image well later. But any tips?
Yeah, definitely. My process, I had a folder that I call like a PI folder. So private information. And I had everything in there. I had my driver's license, social security, any type of documents that I thought that you guys would need. And then I presented it, and I also kept it in that file. And then if you ask for any more documents, I would send it and still keep it in that file. So in that case, if you did ask for it later, it was on my desktop on my computer. I could easily go to it and send it by email or put it in the Dropbox.
Excellent. Okay, I want to fast forward you to closing. Closing day, the night before closing, how did you feel?
The night before closing, I was excited. I barely slept because it was like, oh my God, this is it. We're here. But then also I was like, Lord, please don't let them say, okay, sorry, you can't close today.
Right. Oh, man.
So that's what my biggest fear was, that something was going to come up and it was just all going to fall through. So, yeah.
And why did you have that fear? Why did you have that fear? Any particular reason?
Well, there are other people that I've heard from that, they had their clear to close, and the day that they closed, something came up and then they end up not being able to close.
Yeah.
And I just didn't want that to happen to me.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, when you say that, were they not able to close on time, or they weren't able to close, period?
They weren't able to close, period.
Okay. Well, we can assure you, Diana can assure you, it was a big deal of whatever reason that they weren't able to close, period. And, and every situation is different. There was no if and buts about it. I think what I also enjoyed at our closing was the fact that these sellers were so gracious to you, in every way, shape, and form. And this is, really important. I know you felt it, and I felt it, and just was, helpful, and just kind of sharing with you some things that, that probably, needed to know. Did you feel the same way?
I did. And to be honest, I still talk with them to this day.
Wow.
That is awesome.
We still communicate.
Wow.
And they were awesome. And on the day that we moved in here, the previous owner was here, and he showed me different things in the house and told me, hey, if you have any questions or concerns, you have my number,
Wow.
Give me a call and I can help you out.
Did you get a home warranty at closing?
Yes, I did.
Have you had the opportunity to use it?
No, I have not.
That's good. That's good, but you've got it in case you need it.
Yes, ma'am.
That is wonderful. I thought we
You
were going
think she's checking on her realtor?
I think I'm checking on the realtor.
Okay.
No.
For the home warranty?
No, but briefly, Janice, why don't you explain what a home warranty is, just so people know?
I have no problems with it, and it's funny that you would say that, simply because of the fact that I get anytime any of my customers use a home warranty. So let me just kind of back up. What a home warranty does is normally for a year, but of course the buyer, the homeowner has the opportunity to renew every year, but it's going to cover pretty much all the major components. So definitely the HVAC system, dishwasher, garbage disposal, water heater, plumbing issues, electrical issues, garage door openers, just really that, the gambit. There might be, if you have a basement there, or you don't have to have a basement to have a sump pump, but normally something like that also is covered. And I know I have had one, a home warranty for years. So, and I always have renewed it. So one of the things that people don't realize is that things happen. You know, you could even have a warranty on new things, you know what I'm saying? And the warranty, they only do warranties a year on a lot of things anymore. They used to be 5 years or what have you. But the very fact that you do have this type of a warranty, and let's say something might have come back on an inspection report. I've had sometimes where a situation, they just say, you know, you're going to probably have to replace the water heater or the air conditioner or something like that, maybe in the next year, in the next 2 years. Well, you know, you don't, because with the home warranty, if something goes bad or, you know, cold day and the heat decides not to come on, you just call that home warranty company and they will come out. They will, it's a service charge to the contractor. It depends on the home warranty company, but a service charge, they either repair it or they replace it. And so let me just kind of back up. I don't know of any case that I have never had a home warranty for my buyers or recommended it. Whether this, in the old days, it could be the seller paying for it, but you know, it doesn't matter. The buyers, we want them to pay. So what I also wanted to say is that I actually got a summary this last year of 2021 of the number of claims that have come up with some of my previous buyers, and show the amount of money that they saved.
That's
and
awesome.
It is awesome. It is awesome. And so that really makes me feel good, because we're talking out of pocket money if that isn't the case.
Right.
You know, so definitely would recommend it. And we'll have somebody on the show for that also.
Great job. Great job. Well, I tell you what, Rosalind, it has been a pleasure having you on the show today. We really appreciate you taking the time and sharing your story. We know that your story has been a blessing
Yes.
to those who have tuned in. We just admire you very, very much with you and your kids. Glad you were able to stay in the same community with your schools.
Yes.
Glad you're able to have a relationship with the seller. You know, I mean, it gets no better. I know they're happy that you're in their house. I know they are.
Family home.
Yes, a family home. So thank you for giving Janice and I the opportunity to assist you and
Being
provide
part of this journey.
Absolutely,
This new
it's a
chapter.
big deal. It's a big deal. It's the biggest step we can take in terms of wealth building, the appreciation of your home. At some point, you may want to tap into that equity. If you ever even want to talk about that, or if you're ever solicited, feel free to call me and let's talk about it. But I mean, you just made a wise step, a very wise step. So listen.
I thank you both so much.
Oh, you are
Thank
so
you for your vote of
welcome. You
confidence.
are welcome.
All righty.
You have a wonderful day,
Wonderful
and thank
day.
you for
Thanks
joining
again.
us today.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And viewers, thank you so much for tuning in this morning and being with us while we talk to Rosalind. And we just appreciate your support of the Home and Finance Show and look forward to next time. Have a good day.